In this video, I'm going to give you 5 fantastic tips to help you sell more puzzle books. Welcome to my channel. My name is Caroline, and this week I'm going to be doing a whole series all about puzzle books. Why they are so great, how to make certain types of puzzle books, and how to sell more puzzle books. I've mentioned in quite a few of my videos recently that I'm really loving the puzzle book niche lately because of its popularity with Amazon's customers and the ability to make unique puzzle books using puzzle book software. So over the next few days, I am going to be making some videos about a particular puzzle book niche that is popular and profitable, and how to make books for this particular niche. There is a new puzzle book software being launched next week, and I have been lucky enough to get early access to it, and I love it so far. I've been having a lot of fun making some puzzles with it. So keep an eye out for my next couple of videos where I will be showing you that software, and I'll let you know once it is available to get. But for this video, I want to give you some tips on how to sell more puzzle books, which results, of course, in you making more money. So here are 5 tips that you can implement into your puzzle book business on KDP. My first tip relates to the actual making of the book, and that is to use very simple fonts when making your puzzles. I'm not talking about the actual page itself, because you can have fun designs and fun images and fonts, text and things on the page itself, but the actual puzzle, make sure to use clear, easy to read, easy to see fonts so that the puzzle solver can clearly see the puzzle they're trying to solve. Puzzles can be hard enough without the issue of trying to figure out what letters are or what certain sentences say. That will just frustrate the customer, and they most likely will never buy another book from you, but they also may go and leave a negative review on your listing. Let me show you an example. So here are 2 different word search puzzles that I made using a very decorative, curly kind of almost fuzzy looking font. And then I made a word search puzzle with a very nice, clear, crisp font. This one is called a sans serif font, just has nice, clear edges to the font. But I made these couple of word searches for you to show you what different kinds of fonts can do. You can see the difference in how much easier it is to see the font that is nice and clear and crisp and easy to read compared to the font that is very decorative. And this is going to be especially important if you are making puzzle books targeting perhaps people who are a bit older, or maybe even people who have dementia or some other condition like that. This kind of mistake would probably mean that your book wouldn't sell. The next tip might seem a little silly or a little bit obvious, but that is to make sure you include solutions at the end. I have seen puzzle books that have done this. Whether it was on purpose or by mistake, I'm not sure, but I personally feel like it is a massive mistake to not include solutions at the end of your book. Whether you do that by accident or whether you do it on purpose because you think you don't need to include them and because you want to maybe save money on printing, and by not having the solutions in, your book is less pages, whatever the reason, don't leave them out. People need to be able to go to the back of the book and check a solution to a puzzle, maybe just to check that whether they've got the answer right. Maybe they're not sure if they've got it right and they want to check, or maybe that puzzle's too hard for them and they just really want to know the answer. There's nothing more frustrating than not knowing the answer to a puzzle, especially if it's one that just is a little too hard for you to solve. If you can't figure out, or if you can't go find the solution to the puzzle, it really bothers you. I'm someone who loves puzzles, and if it's something that I just can't work out, I need to be able to go and find the solution so that I know the answer to the puzzle. Don't assume that the person trying to complete your puzzle book is going to be able to complete all your puzzles, or that they just won't need to look at the solutions. And if you are worried about the amount of space that the solutions are going to take up, you don't have to have one solution per page. You can make your solutions smaller. You can have smaller sized solutions on the page, which allows you to have multiple solutions per page. So you could perhaps have 4 solutions per page, or even 6 solutions depending on the type of puzzle, on one page at the end of the book, which will help reduce the amount of pages you need to dedicate to the solutions. The third tip I have is around setting up your book or setting up a brand, and that is to create a series. If you haven't started making puzzle books yet, maybe try to take some time before you start to think about creating a brand of puzzle books, maybe a brand name or a business name or something like that. Maybe even register a domain name so you can have a website at some point. I think it's a really good idea to start building a brand from the very, very beginning if you can. If you have already started making puzzle books, that's fine. You can still create a brand after you've already made some puzzle books. Once you do come up with a brand idea or a brand name or whatever it may be, you can always update your covers or the interiors of your existing books to include your brand name or your brand or company's details within those books. You can give details of your website or where the customers can go to see all the other books that you have under your brand. You can even just include a list of all the other books that you have under your brand or under your series somewhere within the first few pages of your book, or even a page or two at the back of the book dedicated to listing all the other books that are available if the customer wants to go get more books from your brand. Then when you do go to your KDP account to upload your books or upload a new book, you can create a series there and you can add all your new books under that brand to that series. Firstly, this means if someone buys one of your books and they love it, they can go see what other books that you have and hopefully go back to Amazon and buy more of them. It's also helpful, as a little side note, to set up an Author Central account for your brand as well, because you can link your books to your pen name or your brand name, whatever you are using, so that when someone clicks on your author bio, they can also see all the other books that are linked to your brand. And going back to creating a series on Amazon, secondly, adding your books to a series links your books together in a way, and Amazon has this really cool feature around series. Let me show you. Here is a book that I've come across on Amazon KDP, 2000 word search for adults, 2000 words word search for adults. And when we're on the sales page here, you can see just below the rating, there is this little link here which says book 1 of 14 adults edition. So adults edition is what they've named their series, and this is the link to the series. So if we click on that link, it takes us to a series page, and so we can see that there are 14 books within this particular series which are targeting adults, and it will list every book in the series that author, that publisher has linked into this series. So you can do that when you're setting up the listing in your KDP account. And you can see here that you can easily just click the add to cart button for as many of those books in that series that you want. So it's a great way to get your customers' attention on all of your books on one page, as opposed to them being on a search results page where your book is one in 40 or however many books are listed on a search results page. It's a great way to get them just to have only your books to choose from. And especially if you have created a book that they love, then, hopefully there's a good chance they'll come back and buy more from your series. It's a really great way to get repeat or multiple book purchases. The next tip is related to setting up your book, and that is to use A+ content. A+ content is a newer feature to KDP, and it is a very welcome one because it gives us the ability to add more content about our books to the actual sales page or the listing page. It's a way to provide more information about the product or about the brand, and it's a great way to be able to add more images about the product too. One of the things that all of us involved in KDP say is that we wish we could have more images of the books. Currently with KDP listings, we only have 2 images allowed. One is the front cover, one is the back cover. And of course we have the look inside feature, so people can try to have a look in to see what is inside the book, but we have no control over what shows in that look inside feature. A+ content gives us the ability to provide more information, details, and images about that particular book or about our brand. So it's not only the opportunity to be able to provide more information about that particular book, but it's also being able to get another mention about the other books in your series. This feature was added to the listing page to help engage customers more. So really take advantage of this feature because it'll allow you to give more insight into the type of book that you are selling and hopefully draw the customer in even more and get them to actually hit that buy button. They are on your listing because your book caught their attention in some way. So use the A+ content feature to solidify that this is the book for them. And the last tip that I have, and one that I mention in many of my videos, and that is to do self-promotion. Firstly, this not only helps the particular book that you are publishing, but it also helps the rest of the books in your series as a whole. But especially if you are building a brand, it will just help your brand build your brand overall. Instead of waiting and relying on Amazon to send customers to your listing, because let's be honest, that can take a really long time, or it may never even happen at all, try to send some of your own customers to Amazon to buy your book. I know that most people have this idea that you just pop a book up on Amazon and Amazon just sends floods of customers your way. Maybe if you are already a massive seller on Amazon with all your other books, think something like Jade Summer in the coloring book niche. They may do this, but if you are just like the rest of us and you haven't hit the jackpot yet with hundreds of books that are selling thousands and thousands of copies every month, then you may just have to do some of the work to get some sales, especially at the beginning. But don't think of it as doing something for nothing. If you can send customers to Amazon to buy your books, it will show Amazon that there are actually people interested in buying your book. So it tells the algorithm, the Amazon algorithm, that people like this book, people are buying this book. What does Amazon want? Amazon wants more sales. So if something is selling, Amazon will push that book or that product to sell more because they want to make money. We want to make money. So if we can send customers to start buying our book from places away from Amazon, the algorithm will then start hopefully picking the book up in the organic algorithm and start to push your books into the search results organically. So it's more like you're just giving your books a boost to get it started with ranking organically in the Amazon search results. And there are lots of ways that you can promote your books and your brand. Some are free, some are paid. Usually the free methods take a bit longer because you just need to put in time, and over time the work you put in compounds and builds up, and eventually you start seeing results. And then there are paid methods of promoting your books, which in general speed things up a little bit. So you can create social media accounts for your brand and use those channels to promote your book. Pick just a couple of different platforms and focus on them. Don't try to be on every single social media platform. There are so many out there, but if you try to be on all of them at once, it'll just get too overwhelming. Create an email list for your brand and send out emails to your list whenever you have a new book launching, or even just send them out emails about the older books that you have and why they're so great. Join Facebook groups where you can talk about your books. Pretty much just find anywhere you can to talk about your books. You can then advertise your books and your brand if you have a budget for it, and that is obviously something like Amazon ads is probably the one that comes to mind first, but there is also advertising on social media platforms like Facebook and like Instagram that you can look at as well. So there are my 5 tips that can help you sell more puzzle books on Amazon KDP. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I do have a new puzzle book software that I have access to, and I'm so excited to share with you guys in the next couple days. I really think you're going to love it, and I'm having so much fun playing around with this software and making these videos about puzzle books to help any of you guys out there who are watching and who want to get into the puzzle book niche too. If you did find this video helpful and you are looking forward to the next few days of videos that I have coming up for you, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.